Hare Krishna, Namaste. Chapter 14 is entitled as Gunatraya Vibhaha Yoga. Sloka 5, Part 1. Sattvaṁ rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadhnāti mahabāho dehe dehinam avyayam. From the verse 3, we learnt that the creation after Prakrita Pralaya and Naimitika Pralaya happens by the will of the Lord. And from verse 4, not just Prakrita and Naimitika Pralaya, but also the creation happens after Nitya Pralaya is also because of the will and involvement of the Supreme Lord. It is not that the Prakriti and Jivatma can make things happen just because of their conjunction together. It is the Lord who does these things. Now, in verse 5, there are two questions being answered. Number 1, what is the cause of being born again and again? Number 2, what is the cause of being born in a same or not same, in a similar body? For example, one who is currently a Devata, is born again as Devata. One who is currently as human is born again as human in most of the cases. In other words, one who has done punya gets punya janma. One who has done papa gets papa janma. Why is this? So these are the two questions will be addressed in 5th sloka. Now let's see the meaning. Sattvaṁ, the mode of goodness; Rajaha, the mode of passion; Tamaha, the mode of ignorance; Iti, thus, Gunaha, the qualities; Prakriti, material nature; Sambhavaha, produced of; Nibadhnāti, do condition; Mahabāho, O mighty armed one; Dehe, in this body; Dehinam, the living entity; Avyayam, eternal. Now let's sequence these words so we can understand what it's trying to say. Prakriti sambhavaha, existing together in Prakriti. Sattvaṁ, Rajaha, Tamaha iti gunaha, the qualities of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas always exist together in Prakriti. Prakriti sambhavaha sattvam raja tamayiti gunaha. Mahabāho, Krishna is calling out or addressing Arjuna as O mighty armed one. Avyayam, immutable by nature, that is, unchangeable by the Prakriti. Here Krishna talks about the Atma, Dehinam. Dehinam, the living entities, are Avyayam, immutable. Dehe, for the only reason that he is existing in a body; Nibadhnāti, bind to the samsara, that is, he goes through the transmigration process from one body to another body to another body and so forth, the cycle. Translation: material nature consists of 3 modes: goodness, passion and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. The first and foremost understanding that we must have in this subject is that Prakriti possesses guna. Guna means the 3 modes. In other words, the Prakriti and the three modes are always together. The three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, cannot be separated from the Prakriti. When we are talking about Prakriti, it is that Moola Prakriti, Pradhana, which always possesses the gunas. And from that, whatever comes, they also inherit these gunas. So it is not that the gunas, the three modes, are born, created from the Prakriti. These gunas are always present in the Prakriti, and that makes the Prakriti to be called as Prakriti. That's a speciality of Prakriti. Let's understand this further. Swarupa Nirupaka Dharma, and the other one is called Nirupita Swarupa Visheshana. If we want to recognize, identify something, an object, we do that by its special feature or a quality. Otherwise, one object cannot be differentiated with the other object. So, the object and the quality of that object must be present together and cannot be separated. And that's called Swarupa Nirupaka Dharma. Whereas Nirupita Swarupa Visheshana means once the object is established by its inseparable quality, then additional features that exist on that object are Visheshana or added attributes to that object. They are not natural. This will be clear if we see an example. Flower and the fragrance that's present in the flower. Flower and its fragrance cannot be separated. It is not that flower appeared first and after some time the fragrance was introduced into the flower. That's not the case. The fragrance is always present with the flower. As the flower buds out, the fragrance is already present within it. And this fragrance is the one which makes the flower to be called as flower. And this quality is referred as Swarupa Nirupaka Dharmam. And this is how the flower with the fragrance is differentiated with the other object. So, Swarupa Nirupaka Dharmam is that when certain qualities are present right from the creation or birth of that particular object or element. Whereas Visheshana, whereas other special things get added after that, and those are called Nirupita Swarupa Visheshana. For example, the flower with the fragrance is placed in a colorful vase, decorated with other nice articles. The vase has nice marbles within it. So these additional things that we see are known as Nirupita Swarupa Visheshana, which means they don't coexist with the flower like the fragrance, but they are all added to it as additional attributes or feature. So what is the purpose of we understanding these concepts? In this sloka, Krishna says, sattvaṁ, rajas, tamaiti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha. It doesn't mean that three gunas were created or produced from the Prakriti. It means the three gunas are always present in the Prakriti. It is not that Prakriti was existing and then later at one point the gunas were added to the prakriti, or the prakriti produced these gunas. So the prakriti and gunas can never be separated. The speciality of, or the identification of prakriti is that which is with the gunas. Whether prakriti, the moola prakriti, is in its unmanifested stage or in manifested stage, gunas are always present. The only difference is that in unmanifested stage, the gunas, the three modes, sattva, rajas and tamas, are balanced state. They are equal. Whereas in manifested state, they are not equal in their level. They are not balanced. That's the only difference. So if the gunas are the swarupa nirupaka dharma of the prakriti, then what could be the nirupita swarupa visheshana for the prakriti? Which means they were not present, they are not coexisting with the prakriti, but they come later. What could those be? The answer is Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Sound, touch, form, taste, smell. These are the added attributes to the Prakriti later. Prakriti in its original state as Moola Prakriti, these are not present. It only has gunas, three gunas, without these things. But later, these are produced. As we already learnt earlier, from the Moola Prakriti Pradhan comes Mahan. From Mahan comes Ahankara, and that as Satvika Ahankara, which is called as Vaikārikam, then Rajasa Ahankara, known as Taijasam, then Tamasa Ahankara, known as Bhutadi. From Satvika Ahankara, we got Pancha Jnānendriya, Pancha Karmendriya and Manas. From Tamasa Ahankara, Pancha Tanmatra and Pancha Bhuta gets created. These Pancha Bhuta and Pancha Tanmatra are not created at the same time. There is a process, there is a sequence in which they get created. Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi. That is ether, air, fire, water, earth. This is a sequence of how the material elements, 5 elements, get created. But before each one of these get created, there is a process in between these elements. From Tamasa Ahankara, first thing that get created is Sabda Tanmatra, which in turn, from which Akasha comes, and then Sparsha Tanmatra, from it comes Vayu, then Rupa, followed by fire, then comes Rasa, followed by water, then comes Gandha, followed by Prithvi. This is the way that things get created. So the answer is, these Panchatanmatras are the Nirupita Swarupa Visheshana for Prakriti, and the Gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are the Swarupa Nirupaka Dharma. What is the purpose of we learning this one? These qualities, the Gunas, are not of Jivatma, it is of Prakriti. But we can see how much we all get influenced by the 3 modes. This is just an introduction. We haven't answered those 2 questions which yet to be addressed, that we will see in the following sessions. Namaste. Hare Krishna.